What do the most successful growing businesses have in common? They're working together in Slack. Slack is where work happens with all your people, data, and information in one AI-powered place. Grow your business in Slack. Visit slack.com to get started.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
How, I guess, kind of just start off with the obvious, how are you doing in your rehab and where do things stand?
Rehab's going well. Making good progress, coming along. Obviously spent a lot of time with the trainers here and strength staff, so feel like things are going well, so I'm coming along well.
Do you think, I think Joe had talked about a little bit, your kind of hopes for what you'll be able to do this spring. I guess, where do you stand in being able to throw or activities on the field?
I've been throwing for quite some time now. I was throwing stationary pretty soon, in the rehab process, but have progressed, and I'm, throwing with movement and dropping and, kind of quarterback-specific drills. So that feels good, and it's coming along well.
Dan Duggan.
Hey, Daniel, and so then just to build on that, have they given you a target date of when you think you could be fully cleared?
The plan is to be ready to go by training camp. So, that's what I'm shooting for, and feel good about being ready.
Have you had any setbacks or anything that's during this is a long, hard process, like anything like that, or has it all been kind of smooth? Or how's it gone?
I haven't had any setbacks, fortunately, to this point. So, it's a process, and there's certainly better days and then days that you don't make as much progress. But overall, it's been a good process with these guys, and lucky to have the training staff that we have here with the Giants and the strength staff, and feel lucky to be working with them. So it's been a good process. I've come along well, and luckily no setbacks.
Thanks.
Yep.
Jordan Renan.
Hey, Daniel, what's going on?
What's up, Jordan?
I'm curious, is your rehab strictly the leg? Do you have to do anything with the neck? Is that something you still have to build up? Is it anything you have to worry about? Or when you go and train, how does that factor in, or if at all?
No, that's not a factor. My neck's 100% healthy. That was a stinger type injury that's pretty common in football, and that's calmed down, and I feel good.
And I know Joe had mentioned the possibility of you getting into some stuff in the spring, into some drills and stuff. Where do you kind of stand on that? What's your thought process on that?
Yeah, I want to do as much as they'll let me do, and that's the goal. I'm gonna, obviously want to be smart and not do anything you can't do, but I'm that's my goal, is to be involved and participate in some of those drills here in the spring. So obviously it'll correlate with my rehab and the progress I'm making as the trainers and the strength staff sees it. So, that's the goal.
Brian Dunleavy.
Daniel, thanks for doing this. Hope you're well.
Yep.
Is it strange to look around Part A and not have Saquon here? What was that like for you? And if my math is correct, Daniel, Part B would be, I think you're the longest tenured Giant now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, me and Dex. I guess I was a few minutes before Dex, but it's different for sure. Not having Saquon around. He's he was a great teammate, great friend. Happy for him, to get the contract, and unfortunate we're gonna have to play him, but that's the NFL. That's the way this works, and I'm excited about the guys we got on the team.
And then it doesn't really feel like that long ago to me that we were asking Eli this question, but now we're asking you this question. Would you feel if the Giants used their first-round pick on a quarterback, and have they looped you in at all to the possibility that they might do that and, bring in a challenger for your job?
Yeah, I mean, my focus is what I'm doing here with my rehab. Kind of the same thing with Saquon. It's the nature of our business. It's a competitive league, so the best way to handle that, I think, is to focus on what I'm doing, focus on myself, and making sure that I'm, one, healthy, and then ready to play good football. So, that's what I can control. That's what I can do to help myself and the team.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yep.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Paul. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Good.
How good are you at sensing things around you as far as, do you have a sense, there's so much talk about quarterbacks and what they're going to do with you and contracts, and they can get out of this and get out of that. It seems like the ink is still just drying on your contract, and, there's already ways to get out and all this other things. Do you have a sense from Dave's, from Joe Shane, from anybody that, you know what, I think they might be looking to replace me, or no, this is still my team and my offense? You have to concentrate on your rehab, but how is your sense and your antenna about these things?
Yeah, I think, I think you can get into trouble when you try to think too much about some of those things and how it all works out, and like your antenna for maybe some of those dynamics and relationships. So, I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing, and that's my rehab, getting healthy, spending time with the guys, and making sure we're getting on the same page, having the best spring we can. So, I guess that'd be a better question for Joe and Dave's, but I'm focused on what I got to do.
And if you're healthy, this summer in training camp, which you hope to be, and going on into the season, you feel you're the best quarterback that the Giants can have to start their season with?
I do, yes.
Thank you.
Kim Jones.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Kim?
I'm good, thank you. I'm wondering if having Mike Kafka back is a sense of, security blanket, a coach you know well, and obviously there's a chance at some point in this offseason he could have left.
Yeah, it's been, it was great. It's great to have Kafka back. Obviously it's a compliment to him that he was sought after in some of those head coaching jobs. So he's a great coach, and I've enjoyed working with him, spending time with him, and building this offense. So we understand there's areas we're all looking to improve, and I'm looking forward to working with him, taking his coaching, and taking those steps. So he's a smart guy, football guy. Played quarterback in the NFL, and has seen it from a quarterback's perspective. So I've really enjoyed working with him.
Daniel, with the injuries, have they worn on you? Have they given you a life lesson? Have you taken somehow a positive? How have you addressed the idea in your own mind that so many of these games, unfortunately, you've not been out there for?
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate part of the game. It's a physical game, playing quarterback. You're going to take hits, and a lot of the hits, are in the pocket where you're not moving or you're not protecting yourself as much as you would be when you're running. So, so it's all, it's all part of the game. It's an unfortunate part of it, but it's times to focus on little things and trying to rehab the knee, but also find other areas of your game that you can focus on and still apply yourself to improving. So you're always kind of looking for those edges, or you're looking for those couple things that you can take a step with. It's a little bit different when you're rehabbing and when you're maybe less at least for the first couple months, I'm less mobile than I would be in a typical off season. So tried to focus on, a couple things and make progress.
If I could, I know this is a third, but I just want to make sure I'm clear. Were you kind of just talking about a little bit neck up? Like, because that's the part that you can fine tune as your body's healing?
Yeah, I think, film and some of that work. And then, whether it's, arm care or arm strengthening stuff or, just different things you can focus on that don't require as much running or movement.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Rock.
Daniel, I just had a real quick question about, I know you usually get together with the receivers and the backs at Duke or something like that. Is your rehab going to allow you to do that this offseason, this spring?
Yeah, I think we'll try to spend as much time as we can together, throughout the spring and the summer. Obviously, we're here for OTAs, and there'll be a section of our workouts where we're on the field, and then that'll progress into practice, obviously. So, this summer we'll definitely look to spend some time together. I think my rehab will be, I want to get that figured out and see where that, exactly is. But, the goal and the idea is definitely to find some time to work out together this summer.
Thank you.
Tom Canavan.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Tom?
Good. Do you have a support group of, let's say, guys who have had ACL injuries who, if you need to run something by, you have the possibility of doing that, like Saquon or maybe Brady or somebody like that? I've communicated with, Saquon went through it recently here, so I've talked to him a good bit about it. And then Wandell had one a couple years ago that he came back, pretty quickly and very successfully from. So those are two guys I've talked to a lot and I've taken advice from there. So, yeah. Is there any one single piece of advice they said, like be patient or whatever?
I think, be patient's one of them. I think, they've talked about you start to feel really good and feel like you can do most things. And, they said looking back on it, where they are now, they realize that they were still a ways from being, completely 100%, fully back. I think that's just part of the process is, you get to a certain point through it and you feel like you can do more than maybe you should or what the trainers or doctors want you to do. So just staying patient with it.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll take one more. Peter Splendorio.
Hi, Daniel. It's Peter Splendorio with the Daily News. Kind of just to build a little bit off, having some new teammates. How do you kind of navigate, new alignment, new running backs, new receivers, possibly more coming in the draft, just not being able to be out there with them in a full capacity this spring? How do you kind of still build a rapport, before you're 100% cleared?
Well, I think there's a lot of time in the meeting rooms. There's times in walkthroughs, time, outside the building where you're grabbing dinner or hanging out and building those relationships. So the time on the field's important and, throwing routes on air, throwing 7-on-7, all that stuff's important. And, I'll try to do as much of it as I can. Every different aspect of being here for the spring is important towards building a rapport and building relationships with guys, and that'll pay off when the season gets here. So, there's I can do the vast majority of all those things, so I'll try to do those well.
You're a growing business, which means you need every spare hour you can find. That's why the most successful growing businesses are working together in Slack. Slack is where work happens, with all your people, data, and information in one AI-powered place. Start a call instantly in huddles and ditch cumbersome calendar invites. Or build an automation with Workflow Builder to take routine tasks off your plate. No coding required. Grow your business in Slack. Visit slack.com to get started.
You never want to find yourself out on the water fishing without the essentials. So it's best to always pack a Columbia PFG Solar Stream Elite hoodie to protect against the sun. I mean, it provides great protection, and it's really breathable so you don't get hot. That's a win-win. Columbia PFG has a lot of great gear, so before you head out on the water, head over to Columbia.com/PFG to shop their performance fishing gear.